Amri, Tosfos on base and base. Kulu, the rabbis regarding why a sukkah higher than 20 amot is invalid. And Rava and Rabbah did not want to say the reason of Rav Zera. And given the reason, because a sukkah, you have to be under the shade of a sukkah of the walls, and if it's higher than 20 amos, you're under the 20. That was Rav Zera's reason. Why didn't the rabbis accept Rav Zera's reasoning? The Gemara says that says that a sukkah has to be for the shade of the Succah. That's referring to the future, in the times of Mashiach. The times of Mashiach, that will serve, the sukkah will serve as the shade that the Succah is. Maybe the sukkah of mitzvah today, when Mashiach is not here yet, right, Elia? Maybe that sukkah be served. It could be kosher even if it's not used as giving the shade. Even if the walls are giving the shade, maybe it's also called the sukkah in the future for the purpose of the shade. But today, maybe the sukkah is not the shade. Sukkah, and maybe you could be yotze in the midst of sukkah without having the walls providing the shade. Therefore, David's reasoning. That's what the Gemara said. Correct, Mr. Safdie? So, top Tosfos, first Tosfos on the page. Rav Zera lo Amri. They didn't agree with Rav Zera, and the Gemara just explained why. Because they said that the source of Mashiach, not nowadays. In nowadays, maybe a sukkah could be some. How the Lokama? Why didn't the Gemara say Mishum Kusha Abaye? Rav Zera was because of Abaye's question. Abaye had a question, or Rav Zera's Abaye question of Zera, because if you're saying that this has to come from the ceiling sukkah has to provide the schach, Abaye said, what about if you make a sukkah in a vacuum? So you're not. It's not the schach that's providing you the on your right and the big mountain on your left that are providing the shade, and yet we know it's the rejection question on Rav Zera's approach. You Rav Zera the shade from schach, and if it's higher than 20 amo, you get any shade from the walls. If that's true, Abaye says, so you're not getting the shade from the schach, you're getting shade from the walls. Now, that is the reason, and that's a question on Rav Zera's approach. Why accept Rav Zera's approach? Because Rav Zera's approach has a question. Look, it's kosher when you make it in Ashtos Tanai, when you make it in Kidakam al Rava. Monetana, welcome back. Like it says by Rava. Had his when Rava, what was Rava's reasoning? It has to be a temporary type of dwelling, and if it's higher than 20 amos, the Gemara questioned Rava, and the Gemara says that's the question that the Gemara asked on Rava, and why the rabbis didn't accept Rava's approach. The same way the Gemara said earlier they didn't accept his opinion. So why does the Gemara need to offer a different reason why they didn't? The same thing that they said by Rava's approach, because of the question of Abaye. Because it was so that should be the reason why they didn't accept his approach, because of the question. Did they come out? So this answers the Tana we are on base and base 2B. B, right? 2B, 1. The Tosfos Kaf Tosfos. Reb Zera answered Abaye. What was his answer? His answer was that really the sukkah made in the valley, the sukkahs in the valley, even though you have the mountains shade, but if you would remove the mountains, if the mountains be removed, the sukkah is providing shade. It's a proper sukkah. There's no flaw in the sukkah. Since Rav Zera explained his position well, and defense, and they were satisfied with defense, therefore the Gemara has to come up with a different, not accept Rav Zera's reasoning for. Okay, welcome, Dr. Navid. We welcome you.
Boker Tov, Rabbi. Yes.
Boker Tov. Now we are on based on the B2. I mean, no, B1. I mean, 1. The Gemara says, we on Kaman Azla. It's about 5-6 lines from the top. Azla, Had the Amar of Oshia Amarav. By Rav Yoshia in the name of Rav. And he makes it. He says the following. This is what he adds to our discussion until what the statement is regarding machloket in the Mishnah between the Chachamim and Rabbi Yehuda. Chachamim, the Mishnah says, a sukkah higher than 20 amot. Sukkah. If you would have made a sukkah higher than 20 amot, the Chachamim say it's no good. An amma is about between 1.5 and 2 feet. So sukkah higher than 30 or 40 feet, not kosher. Rabbi Yehuda says the sukkah is kosher. Put a cap on the height of a sukkah. You might have a minimum size, maximum size of the sukkah. Rabbi Yehuda doesn't put a cap. The Chachamim put a cap. The Chachamim say is 20 amot. That's what the. And now comes the Gemara. Comes Shia in the name of Rav, and he says the following: Machloket. The machloket is when the walls. The schach. Then what does that mean? Made, you had a wall, the walls of the sukkah, and you had between the wall and let's say the schach is 25. Let's say that the wall is 25 amot. Up is 25 amot high, and let's say the space again. Sorry, but there's a wall of 15 amot high. Okay, but you have a space 25. You have a space, and let's say we'll see in the Gemara why that's sukkah. We look at the top. If it's direct, we look at it, or we'll see. There's why it's kosher. But we say, and then you have a gap. It's not a gap in the top. A gap in the top, in the cover of the sukkah. We're talking about a gap. talking about a gap from the wall, let's say from the wall, there's a gap. So the wall does not reach the schach. But the case when the wall doesn't reach the schach and it's higher than 20 amot, see the schach. However, that's how we're going to explain it. Funny, Adam. When the wall doesn't reach the schach, however, the final megillah schach, which in most cases, you make a sukkah, you want the wall. It's going to be much more comfortable. It's going to be much warmer when the wall reaches the schach. If the wall doesn't reach the schach, there'll be much more wind coming into the sukkah. But if the wall reaches the schach, afilu l'mayla me'estem amma kasher. The sukkah is kosher. So the Gemara says that this law that the Chachamim say, that if you have a sukkah 20 amot, it's kosher. That's only if the wall doesn't go straight. There's a gap between the top of the wall to the schach. But if there's no gap, that the wall reaches to the schach, so even if the total height of the schach is good, it's kosher. That's this opinion. So the Gemara says, the one area is Keman Kiraba. This clarification be in sync with Rabba's opinion. What does Rabba say? The problem with a sukkah higher than 20 amot is mishum de lo sholti doesn't see the schach on a regular basis. And we say that our vision, our regular, the eyes see a type of, the average height that we see is when we walk in a sukkah, we sit in a sukkah, we don't walk like this. Our head is not tilted back, that we're looking up to the sky. The normal, the peripheral vision that you have is that we see is usually your eyes to 40 feet height. That's between 30 and 40 feet that's in front of you. Got that, Ilya? That depends where exactly in the shoe. I mean, it's a permanent structure. Yeah, but he's asking the question. Eyes generally, do they really see how high are my eyes seeing? No, because this opinion is saying that you have to be sitting in a sukkah. And if it's higher than 20 amot, you don't realize in a sukkah. So he's saying, even the ceiling of the ceiling. But how high is the ceiling? It's more than 30. So if it's more than 30 feet, so therefore that answers your question. Because we're saying, you're not cognizant, right? If you just say, if you take here, we are staying midrash. So let's say this ceiling was probably the 15-foot ceiling. What do we say? Any 12 foot, 11.5-foot ceiling. So you have 11 and 12-foot ceiling. Right? Even though the average person might be 6 feet tall. That's right. Your vision is seeing it. So it seems that it's going 12 foot. It will see normal to see up to feet is the common that people see. So the Gemara like Gemara says, this would go like Keman Keraba. Unique qualification and explanation of the fit like Rabbah. And the Gemara is going to explain. The Amma, what did Rabbah say? Rabbah says the issue is that the eyes are not when it's higher than 20 amot, when it's higher than 30 feet, let's say. Even the fanot magir l'schach, but since the wall reach the schach, so then we say mishlat shal. Why? Because when you see the wall, so what happens is once you see the wall, then your eyes run, keeps on going up. So when you hear that, Adam, so when you see the wall, your eyes run across, follow the. Therefore, even if it's higher than 20 amot, you'll be cognizant of the schach. You'll see the schach. Now the Gemara continues. Keman azla. We have a different statement, the name of Rav. Huna in the name of Rav. What did he say? Machloket kishe amot al abba amot. The dispute between the Chachamim. What's the case that we're talking about? The Sukkah is, we know one thing is clear. The Sukkah is higher than 20 amot. Is higher than 20 amot. Maybe the walls also, depending on the which opinion. No, the Chacham say if it's higher than 20 amot, it's not kosher. So comes this only if the Sukkah is not by 4 amot. Sorry, it's only 4 amot, but only exactly 4 amot by 4 amot. Let's say 4 amot. We'll say around. We say an amot can be between 1.5 and 2 feet. The opinion that says 4 amot will be around 7 feet by 7 feet. It could be between 4 amot was between 6 feet and 8 feet. So let's say we'll take feet. And that's, by the way, we say if you have a room that's 4 amot, that's 7 feet by 7 feet, that room needs a mezuzah. Room, they need, if you have let's say you have a room that's less than dalet amot and dalet amot, let's say less than 4 amot, we don't need to put a mezuzah on a closet that's less, but if you have a closet, but if you have a closet and you keep your clothing in the closet. In Manhattan, they don't usually have closets 7 feet by 7 feet. Is that correct, Ariel? West Side, they have closets that are 7 feet, right? And the old building, big closet. So then, we're going to see, by the way, later in the Gemara, we're going to learn the importance of how dalet amot by dalet amot makes it into a place. Is we're going to see according to the Gemara, we'll see how that applies. If it's not dalet, if it's only dalet amot on dalet amot, which she's saying the size of the Sukkah above 20, then it's not kosher. Meaning, let's say 7 feet by 7 feet is the width and the length. 20 amot. That's where the Chacham say it's not kosher. But if it's more than 4 amot by 4 amot, the width and the length is more than 4 by amot. Let's say it's 5. 4¼ amot by 4¼ amot. Afilu l'maylam higher than 20 amot. The sukkah is higher than 20 amot. And the length is wider than Kishera. That the sukkah is kosher. This Chachamim would agree that if the sukkah, even if the sukkah is 20 amot, but if the width and the length is larger than 4 amot, then it's kosher. So now the with which opinion is this alike? Out of the three opinions that explain, say a sukkah higher than 20 amot is invalid, which opinion would agree that if the inside is more than 4 amot, then 4 amot? Okay, so we're very good. So we're going to see if the Gemara is going to enough by being a little bit. The Gemara is maybe going to say it's not significant enough, or that maybe that now your eyes are going to. The Gemara is going to say that if you walk in, you have a tremendous large area. We're not going to say, but the Gemara is not going to suggest. See higher, even though you have a much wider opening, right? That's your question, right? The question is if you have that, the area of the sukkah is larger. The question is, do my eyes see that way in any significant way? What's your? Because also remember we said the similar thing by the mavui. There was an alleyway that goes into the Reshut Rabim, and there's a concern, so there's a concern that people might come to carry from that private alleyway into their public property. They put a string across that you should be able to or a beam across. Is private property, and over here is public property. But we also say the Chacham, even though because you need to see it, and you don't see it. Ilya, to address your question, a menorah in the old, even in Israel today, the menorah is outdoors, and we still say the menorah. If it's you can't make a menorah, even though you're outdoors. So we see that even though you're in such a even though it's outdoors area. It's a good point. But the Gemara says this opinion that says in the name of Rav that if it's hot, the Chachamim would say it's kosher as long as the area is wider than 4. That is like Rav Zera. The Omam Yeshum Selu. At the Sukkah, the key point that we have to make sure is that you the Schach. That the Schach, as Tosfos points out, not Sukkah because of the Schach. That's what the word Sukkah. And need to be under the shade of the schach, not on the shade of the walls. So if it's higher than 20 amot, the shade more than the schach being the shade. However, but the kivan the revicha ikesel sukkah. So then there is now. Let's say you're going. If the sukkah is now wider, longer, therefore you're gonna have more of this, and therefore now you're gonna be sitting under the what? more shade. So Tosfos ask a very interesting question. Tosfos says, are we going to say that, let's say, okay, you had it 4.25 amos by 4. You're going to tell me now that you could go ahead and make the sukkah 40 amos high? And, meaning, if you're telling me, well, let's say this is Dalan Amot, let's say this area, this square is 4. That at the height, if it's more than 20 amot, you say this is not going to provide proper. What happens if I'm going to make this? But if I widen it, so that now what is an inch? I widen it 2 inches. I widen a half a foot. It's as high as I want. Now you're going to tell me because the area of the sukkah is a little wider, 100 amos high. It's not logical that because the Succah is going to provide the shade much more than the walls. If I make it, the fact I made it a little wider, a little longer, still, if I'm going up, the walls are going to be doing more of the. Tosfos says in one answer a beautiful thing. It goes according to the count. I mean, if the inside of the sukkah for every 4 amot by 4, that means, and you get a height of 20 amot. Everybody, when the inside of the sukkah is 4 amot, I got a height. I'm allowed to go up to 20 amot, which means get a height of 5 amot. An amma of space. If I put a sukkah of 5 amot, the height. So now if I have 20 amot, every 1 amma gets 5 amot. If I want to make a sukkah 25 amot high, again, every amma gets 5 height. I would have to make it 5 amot. The width would have to be in proportion. How do you like that, Adam? The width to the height. The more ratio. What? Exactly. If I have 10 amot width, again, if I have 8 amot width, I double. If I have 4 amot by 4 amot, I got 20 amot high. I got 8 amot by 8 amot. No, the Tosfos says in one approach, Tosfos says that when the Gemara says that if it's widened, if the area, then even higher than 20 amot would be kosher, according to that opinion, and we'll say why? Because it's not the shade of the walls. That will only make sense, Tosfos says, if you go that according to the width, length, and the height. 4 amot by 4 amot, the height of 20 amot provides Succah. But I want to make it 40 amot high. You would need the 8 amot by 8 amot, because 4 amot by 4 amot and gets a height of 5 amot. So that's what the Gemara said, that this would be the Oma Mishum Sel. Rav Zera says it's about Icha, and since it's wide, Ika Sel Sukkah. So there's this. Now, the Gemara continues. Now, Kiman Azla Had Omer of Hanan. Now we have a different opinion in the name of the argument with Chachamim. Yes. So the question would be if that definitely you have 100 if you have 100 amo width, if the sukkah is so tremendous, it will also have to be that tremendous, right? Because the wider, the point is the wider the more the cover becomes, there's much more covering coming from the side. But to say that I have, instead of having a 4 amma, 5, I extended it 1 amma. I made it, let's say I made it 5 amot by 5 amot. Allow me to double the height of the sukkah to make it 40 amot high, because one Rabbi Mansour, it would not be able to make the sukkah 40 amot high. Then I'm going to get too much cover from the walls. If I did not extend the sukkah, I only extended the sukkah a quarter of the size by 1 amma. It was originally 4 amot by 4 amot, and then I made it. Yes, I extended the sukkah a little bit, and there's more, because if I made it wider, that means the cover will. I need to buy more schach. According to the first approach of Tosfot, if that which the Gemara, the sukkah is large, 4 amot by 4 amot, higher than 20 amot, right? We said if it's 4 amot by 4 amot, if it's 20 amot high, more than 20 amot high, the Chacham say it's no good. The height of 20 amot, no good. What's the problem? More than 20 amot high, it's no good. What's the problem if it's more than 20 amot high? If it's 4 amot by 4 amot is the inside, because you're not sitting under the shelter of the schach, you're not getting the shade of the schach, you're getting the shade of the walls. That was the problem that the Chacham said. But if you extend the sukkah, if the sukkah is longer, now you're going to have, if you have a longer sukkah, what do you got? More schach. If the dimension of the sukkah have been, you've made a larger sukkah to hold more people, that means, you know what you're going to need? You're going to need more schach. And since you're going to need more schach, therefore you're going to have more of a covering of schach, you're going to have more of a shelter. You're going to be under the shade of the schach. So therefore, since you're going to be under, there's going to be more shade of the schach coming in. So therefore, the walls are not giving as much schach as before, because you have widened, you have made a larger cover for the sukkah. So now you got more schach. You got more schach, it's a kosher sukkah. But Tosfos says in his first approach, it wouldn't be logical to say that if I widen, let's say I wanted to get an extra amma by amma, I wanted to make the sukkah an extra amma wide and long. So instead of a sukkah being, let's say, 4 amot by 4 amot, I made it 5 amot by 5 amot. So I got a certain extra amount of schach on that deal. So I'm going to get a certain amount of extra shade on the deal. But if I make that sukkah, if I double the height of the sukkah, let's say, for example, I made a sukkah 40 amot high. But look at the proportion of shade from the walls I'm going to be adding to the sukkah, because I made the walls so much higher. So you're not going to say that the fact that I extended it 1 amma by 1 amma will make up for that extra 20 amot that I made of walls. It's not logical because I'm still gonna get primarily from the shade of the walls if I double the height of the sukkah. But when I double the height of the sukkah, I need to double the width in order to make up for that it should be the schach of the schach providing the shade, not the wall providing the shade. So therefore, Tosfos says in the first approach, you have to go according to the cheshbon. So if you have a 4 amma sukkah, 4 by 4, 7 feet by 7 feet sukkah, which you are allowed to have a height of 20 amot. So 4 amma sukkah gives you 20 amot height. So therefore, if you make it, you're allowed for every amma of width and length, you get 5 amot of height. So so therefore that will be the same thing. If you extend it 1 amma, you can make it 25. You extend it to exactly. That's the first Adam. Is that clear? The Tana, is that clear? That is the first approach of Tosfot. Now the Gemara says a new statement in the name of Rav. Kaman Azla, which opinion? Hada Amar Rav Chanan bar Huna bar Rabba. Rav Chanan said in the name of Rabba, Amar Rav, in the name of Rav, Machloket b'she'ena marzeket ela kedei rosho v'rubo v'shulchano. The machloket, the disagreement between the Chachamim and Rabbi Yehuda is only a sukkah that's very small. How small is it? It only can hold they used to sit in like couches and they would lean, like we say by Pesach, we lean on our left side. So the sukkah has to, if the sukkah only was able to contain his head, the majority of his body, and his table. If the sukkah was able to contain that, by the way, that seems to be the minimum amount of a sukkah, which is, let's say, 7 tfachim. The area of the sukkah is 7 tfachim by 7 tfachim. A tefach is about 3.5 inches. So the minimum width of the sukkah would be, 7 times 3.5 inches. That would be, if that's the case that they're arguing, if the sukkah is that small. But if the sukkah is wider than that, it could hold your head, more than your head, more than your table, more than the majority of your body, even if it's higher than 20 amot, kashera, it's kosher. The Gemara says that's the lokachad. That's not like any of the 3 opinions. We'll see tomorrow. We'll review that last point tomorrow. Have a great day. We have to encourage more people to come to the shir. Ariel is going to be on the recruitment committee, but not only Ariel. If every person brings 1 person to the class, we have double the class. How do you like that? All right. Thank you, Mr. Safdie. I'm giving you homework. Adam, you got homework. Everybody, Rabbi gives homework. I think Rabbi Maso enjoyed that. Yes. Thank you for coming. Welcome back. We missed you.
300 amot. Technically, for Rabbi Zera, you can have a stock of 30 amot.
Much more, because every amma you could go another 5 amot higher. Point his opinion. You have to be able. So the Rabbi says you have to be able to see the schach. So if the fact that you made it wider, it's not going to help.
Why? That long, you can see it when you're walking.
But you still won't be able to see it high. But your regular vision doesn't see higher than 20 amot, and therefore that opinion would not agree with that. Okay. Thank you.